Okay, hold on. Let's make sure you're in the right video. Are you looking to unlock your creativity? Are you looking to develop a more creative mind? A mind that is more likely to come up with new and fresh ideas that you can add to the market so you can start making money on Etsy. And if you're thinking, but Shawna, how can I develop a more creative mind? I'm more of a logical person, or I'm only creative in certain areas of my life, and it really doesn't switch over or apply over to the ability to make best-selling types of designs in my Etsy shop. You see, being creative isn't just something that you wake up and hope that you are. Just like being toned and fit, or knowledgeable about a specific topic, or motivated and having focus. These are not just things that we just are. They're things that we do. We work out to get fit, we study to be knowledgeable, and we focus on the reward so that we can stay motivated and focused. I'm going to make you a deal. So I'm going to give you 8 ways to help you develop a more creative mind and have you coming up with best-selling designs in no time. If you love at least 3 of these ideas, I'm going to ask you to give this video a thumbs up. If you love at least 5 of them, I'm going to ask you to make sure you've subscribed. And if you love at least 7 of them, I'm going to ask you to go down into the comments and tell me which one you thought was the most helpful. Challenge is set. Let's see if I can earn it. Before we get to the first tip, have you ever noticed how creative kids are? This is because they are not afraid to fail or be judged. That's something we learn as we grow. They can play, they can pretend, and they can create freely. As we grow, we start to kind of pigeonhole ourselves and limit ourselves to thinking of ourselves in a certain way. I thought, I'm not funny and I'm not creative in this way. Now let me get a hold of a scrapbook page or have me create a lesson plan to bring to my students, and sure, my creativity would shine through in those areas. I got that. But putting something funny or different on a shirt that is new and adds value to the market, I just didn't think that that was something I was really going to be able to figure out how to do. I crossed my fingers and just hoped that I could repeat things that were already selling well on shirts, phrases that were already selling well, make them look different, and I just kept my fingers crossed that that is what would lead me to success on Etsy. Because there was no way I was going to come up with something new and then be brave enough to post it online and have people looking at it. I just thought I wasn't going to be able to learn to be creative in that way. The good news is, though, that you don't have to wish you were creative so that you could build a successful shop on Etsy. Creativity is not something doled out at birth that some of us get and some of us get skipped over. It is something that we can practice and build on. There are specific things you can do to strengthen your ability to be creative. We're going to go over 8 of them right now. 1, 3, and 8 are my personal favorites, so definitely stick around to hear them all. Strategy 1, schedule creative time. Really, this will give your mind permission to focus on nothing but creativity. Our minds cannot work well when we're thinking about deadlines and responsibilities. Avoid scheduling your creative designing block of time right before an important deadline or an appointment. I myself have really struggled with this. I used to hate designing. I would try to wake up early before school. I used to be a 4th grade teacher and now I'm a full-time Etsy seller. I used to get up early every morning before school and give myself about an extra hour. I'd sit right here with Tucker in my lap and my cup of coffee and I would design. But because I knew that I had to go jump in the car and get myself to school and start a very busy day at school, designing at that time of day was not effective. I was constantly sitting, looking at the clock at the top of my computer or on the top of my phone, wherever I was designing from, and thinking about the fact, oh, I have 33 minutes left. I have 27 minutes left. I have 16 minutes left, and couldn't enjoy the process of designing. Designing is creative work, and feeling that crunch on time bearing down on me in the morning was not a great way to start my day and not a great way to get my best designs out there. And then after school, I would race home, and I just had so many things on my to-do list. I've got to get them designed. I've got to get them mocked up. I've got to look for the SEO, and I've got to get them listed, and I've got to do this now, and let's go, 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 go. For the longest time, I just never gave myself a block of time to do the creative work without all of this pressure and stress on me. I just constantly felt rushed to come up with designs, and looking back, they were just so blah. As a result, I wasn't giving myself permission to just be fully in the moment of the design and creative process. Worrying and hustling is so the opposite of creativity. Eventually, I let myself have whole afternoons for just designing. Not having anything to think about but the creative part allowed my mind to rest and really just focus in on this activity. It became enjoyable, pleasurable, even relaxing. I looked forward to those afternoons. And I still do, because this is how I have it set up currently for myself. My ideas just got better and better over time. We might even think of creativity like a plant. If we close it up in a dark box of restrictions, deadlines, pressure, and rushing, it isn't going to get the space and the time, the sunshine and the fresh air that it needs to grow and bloom and flourish. Perhaps you have 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 blocks of time that you can block out on your schedule where you don't have to be rushing into something else right afterwards or meet a deadline or an important appointment right afterwards. And those can be your blocks of time where you're going to be designing. Tip number 2, set deadlines. I know you're probably rolling your eyes like right now, what is she talking about? She just said don't have deadlines or pressure. Okay, so this is totally opposite of the first point that we just made, but deadlines keep us focused. If your mind starts to wander, the deadline can bring it back. If I have a 2-hour block of time one afternoon to do the creative part of my designing, I chunk it up and have little tasks blocked off, and I set timers. So maybe I have chosen the hiking niche because we've been talking about that on this channel a bit lately. I might give myself 20 minutes to brainstorm as many fun phrases as I can in the hiking niche. I would be scrolling through Etsy, Pinterest, Google, and my own brain to do this. Then I might give myself 20 minutes to research some elements in designs in the hiking, camping, and other related niches. Then maybe 20 minutes to head over to Creative Fabrica. That's where I like to get all of my design elements. I'll leave a link to them down below. If you sign up through the link, you can get yourself some freebies that way. I would be looking for some clip art there that goes along with the trending elements that I noticed from my research with the designs. Maybe some retro sunsets or some mountains. And then maybe I give myself an hour with the hope that I can get, let's say, 10 different designs put together. Maybe for you, that looks like 2 or 3 in that time frame, whatever the goals are that you have set. It is really important to remember here that these timers and deadlines that you're setting within that block of time are meant to keep you focused. You don't want them to be super aggressive because that might lead you to feeling pressure and rushed, which are not good ingredients for creativity. But of course, you also want to avoid getting through that block of time and only having one design finished or not having any designs ready to go. Strategy number 3, think quantity over quality. Quantity over quality? What do I mean by that? When it comes to creativity, quantity over quality can really get you moving in the right direction and carry you to a new place. Instead of searching your brain for that perfect bestseller design idea and heading back to the drawing board over and over again before you get a complete design together, just start pumping out the designs. Whatever you don't like about the first design, let that motivate you in the next design so that you just keep getting a little bit better each design you do. Same idea during your brainstorm for your phrases you're jotting down to use. Just jot down as many as you can. You're not trying to only jot down the perfect ones. This is a brainstorm. It's creative practice. You're just getting all of the ideas down. By writing one idea down or getting one design together, the second idea will surface, and then the third idea will surface, and the fourth and the fifth, and so on. Before you know it, you have a bunch of ideas. Creativity is a domino effect and can really be propelled forward by the momentum you are gaining by just getting those designs together. Once you get the ball rolling, there will be no stopping you. Don't get caught up with trying to nail that one perfect design on your very first try. Don't be afraid to fumble your way through and just let all the ideas spill right out into your design app, into Kittl or Canva or whichever one you're using. Number 4, become an idea machine. Growth is uncomfortable, and I think of this one as kind of being a burpee for the brain. I hate burpees, I don't know about you. And I only do them during structured workout sessions when someone else is forcing me to. But if we want to strengthen our creativity muscles, this brain burpee is an absolute must. So just get yourself doing it. Force yourself to come up with 10 original ideas every day. If you already feel uncomfortable, then this is definitely an exercise you need to do. Do it in the car, on the way to work, while you're in the shower, or make it a fun game with coworkers or family members in the lunchroom or around the dinner table. Maybe today you could come up with 10 punny ideas for Halloween. Tomorrow you could come up with 10 funny Halloween costume ideas that go together, like ketchup, mustard, mayo, relish, so on. Or perhaps you could come up with 10 most likely to ideas for the hiker niche. You could use this video for some inspiration to get you started there. It could even be unrelated to your niches or your design ideas, like 10 new superheroes that don't already exist, or 10 new inventions, or 10 new desserts that no one has thought of yet. The goal is simple here. We're just trying to exercise our brain by writing down 10 new ideas each and every day. At first, they might be really dumb, but do it anyway. By doing this, your creativity is given a chance to expand as you think outside the box. You will get better at it. Plus, it can be lots of fun. And you include your friends or family, and it can lead to lots of laughs. Number 5, I have another fun creative muscle exercise for you. Take a look at your environment. What type of ordinary items are in your surroundings? I can see a tissue box, a whisk, and a stepladder right now from where I'm sitting. And you come up with unorthodox uses for these ordinary items. Perhaps the tissue box could be turned into a pen or pencil holder, a yarn dispenser, or maybe into drawer dividers, a cord organizer, or a plastic bag container. Perhaps the whisk could be used in the garden to loosen soil, or maybe as an avocado masher for my next bowl of homemade guacamole. Okay, 5 seconds on the clock. What are your ideas for the stepladder? Maybe the stepladder could be turned into a doggy ramp so Tucker can get on the couch more easily, or into a cool shelf for potted plants. What were your ideas? Let us know down in the comments below. I'd love to know what you came up with for the stepladder. Try picking an item, set a timer for 2 minutes, and come up with as many unorthodox uses as you can. This is called the alternative uses test and was developed in the 1960s. It forces your creative muscle to grow by looking at everyday objects through a different lens. It encourages creative thinking. Creative thinking is what is going to make you a lot of money on Etsy. Number 6, designate a creative space with natural light, if you can. I like to sit on my couch next to the window when I'm designing. Did you know that artificial light can cause a drop in cortisol levels, which can lead you to sleepiness and less productivity? Natural light, however, can make you more alert and more productive. A balcony, outdoor patio, a quiet garden, a spot in a nearby park can all be great choices for creative spaces. A little hot here in Florida right now for all of that, but my couch by the window is fitting the bill pretty well for me. I definitely notice when I am listing or mocking up, I often sit at my kitchen table. There's not a lot of light that's coming in there. natural light, and I do get sleepy. During that designing process, I'm usually on the couch by the window, and it just feels fresher. It feels better, and I feel like I can get more done and stay alert longer. Number 7, creativity is contagious. Hang out with creative people. Maybe you know some funny or creative people, or perhaps that is going to come through listening to podcasts and your favorite YouTubers. Motivational speeches can be catalysts to igniting that creative thinking process. Listening to other people's ideas, their success, their failure stories, and their creative efforts can be very motivating and inspiring for us. It can be just the push we need to develop our own creative mind. Don't only watch YouTube channels like this where you are being encouraged and taught about Etsy, but also watch funny content in the niches that you're working in. When I created the ideas in this video here that I mentioned earlier, I watched videos like this one. This really helps get my creative mind going. We always gain something by watching and listening to others. And maybe the ideas that we hear won't apply to our situation 100%, but even if they make 5 to 10% of a difference, then isn't it worth it? Number 8, get rid of digital distractions. Okay, I'm not going to be very popular for this one. Please don't be annoyed with me for bringing this information to you, but this is a really powerful one. How many times in an hour do you take a peek at your phone? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, email, texts. Remove all digital distractions to improve your focus. I know this is not going to make me popular, but if I had to make a list of the top 5 things that I feel have allowed me to experience the success on Etsy that I have, this one would absolutely make the top 5. One of the most challenging parts of the creative process is finding the discipline to follow through with your ideas. And did you know that every time you're interrupted, it takes about 15 minutes to get your brain back on track? Every time you check that Instagram alert or that text message, you just set your whole creative vibe, your whole creative momentum and progress back 15 minutes. If you had 1 hour blocked off for your creativity, like we mentioned in step 1 or strategy 1, being distracted by your phone just twice messed up 30 minutes of that hour block. That was half the time you allotted for yourself. Turn off your alerts on all of those things. Do not check your text messages and only use the internet for the purpose of being creative. So maybe you're looking up dog puns to get ideas for your dog mama shirts. Only be using the internet for that purpose during that creative design block of time you set for yourself. Immerse yourself in that creative design session and you will make so much more out of it. And think about that concept for a second on scale or over time, how that really builds up to be bad. So if you were giving yourself 4 hours a week for your design time, your creative time, and you were losing half of that 2 hours a week, you're going to lose over 100 hours over the course of the year. How much is that going to stunt your Etsy growth? How much further could you have gotten? And it's probably more than you realize because Etsy works on the idea of momentum. So losing half the amount of time is really losing a lot more than half the amount of growth you would have had, since your growth is going to be exponentially more toward the latter half. Training your mind takes practice, repetition, and exercise. Just like with anything in life, you must challenge yourself to get ahead. Start implementing some of these ideas today, and it won't be long before you're wowing your customers with your great ideas and making more sales. Don't forget our deal. If you loved at least 3 of these, take a second to like this video. If you loved 5, let's get you subscribed so I can keep delivering content to you that is helpful. And if you found 7 or 8 of them insightful or at least interesting, let's chat down in the comments about which ones you thought were the most helpful. Don't be hindered by the fear of failure, guys. That is not where the creative mind thrives. Remember when we mentioned how creative children are because they don't fear the judgment of others. Get in touch with that inner child in you. Give yourself permission to investigate new ideas and to be open to other possibilities. What we need to do next is apply these strategies, because that's how we're going to make them successful. So let's do that right over here, but not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.